Squidge Rugby versus Siv Ngesi in Vodacom United Rugby Championship, North versus South.
We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting. What's up, Squidge?
Yeah, not a lot. There isn't any rugby this weekend, as I understand it.
I just want to say, I'm singing We Are the Champions because obviously it's pretty evident that the South has won the battle. What a season it's been. Can you believe it's the first one with the South involved?
Yeah. I can't believe any of this has happened. I especially can't believe this last weekend's semi-finals. Just from an unbelievable matches point of view. But then the result as well, there being two South African teams in the final the first season. The whole taker up here, up in the north, was the South African teams will probably be dangerous in the second season onwards, but this first season they're going to need to warm up a bit and it's going to kind of build a bit, and we saw that in the first few weeks of the season. It took about 48 weeks less than we thought it would. And after those first 4 weeks, suddenly, unbelievable, and you're beating us every week until we lead into those two semi-finals, the two South African Irish semi-finals, and what happened those final 5 minutes in both cases?
I was worried in the beginning. It was Vodacom Bulls 4 losses in 5 rounds, DHL Stormers 3 losses and a draw in the first 5 rounds. Please do not forget about our bet. I'll be sending you a jersey, and I would love footage. I would love a picture. I would love a selfie with you wearing a DHL Stormers jersey. But it's going to be an action-packed week.
The Stormers have really done it. I'm excited by them and the Bulls. As I say, it's going to be a really big showdown. The two of them play very different brands of rugby, yet there is overlap, and not just the blue shirts. I think it's really exciting as a matchup and as a game potentially. And all taking place this weekend at quite short notice on the turnaround for them as well, which will be interesting to see how they travel, whether it affect the Bulls, the fact they're flying back during the week, whereas the Stormers are at home last week as well. I wonder if that's going to affect the two teams.
Jake White, love him or hate him, have your opinions about him, but he's a master tactician. He knows the game. He knows his players.
Yeah, so I don't know if this kind of travels, but every single coaching job that comes up in the Northern Hemisphere, Jake White is linked to, and they kind of go like, oh, Jake White will take it. And then it, invariably doesn't happen. And in the moment we see him here in the URC, we know what we were missing out on. We know what every other team was missing out on in seeing him do it. And if you look back over the history of this competition, since they introduced the playoffs, back when it was the Pro 12, how many ever years ago, there's only 1 year where the team that goes on to win the title isn't either Leinster or the team that beats Leinster in the semi-final or the final. So that does give the Bulls quite an interesting advantage potentially, if history is to say anything.
We have a couple of injuries. Dobson has really faced a couple of injuries. Zas is not looking good. Damien Willemse is not looking good. But we do have 2 incredible players who used to play for the Bulls. Manny Box, he used to be there, Manny, and Gelant used to play for the Bulls. So it could add a bit of magic. I'm sure they know some of the calls and they've played them before. They know how the game works. So I think those 2 players could be actually, for me, they are the game breakers.
Yeah, I'm quite excited. As you say, it could go either way. They're such different teams that we could see, depends on how open the game is, how it feels. It being a final might help the Bulls a bit, that kind of very Jake White pragmatism. And the Stormers are likely going to be without Damien Willemse, who's been phenomenal these last couple of months, this kind of lead in as they've really, really kicked on and really fought for these places. Zaz, who has been, what a season he's had. He's kind of come from almost absolutely nowhere, and now he's finishing as the top try scorer. Very likely going to finish after the final as that as well. And even though he's going to be missing, there's still so many threats throughout that back line that could cause some havoc, some mayhem. Herschel Yankees had a fantastic game, played the full 80 as well at the weekend, just really kept them ticking. So if the Stormers can kind of get going, then I think I feel it's more likely the Stormers are going to win by several scores, but I think if it's a tight game, this could easily come down to the Bulls just pipping it by a point or two late on. They've got Mornay Stain. What more can you say?
Marcel Coetzee Been called out for a Springbok. He's been consistent. He's been leading from the front. He is a captain. For me, I look forward to seeing Ruas versus Marcel Cosia. They both have a point to prove. Ono Botha and Alan Roy have been immense. I was offered to do a job at the stadium and I said, no, I want to be watching the rugby because it's going to be a tussle. Even Roos and Lowe. Ooh, that is going to be a colossal battle. What are your views on Roos?
Oh, I mean, what a season he's had. You know when you think you've lost like some change on the back of the sofa, you go to check if you've got 50p back there, and you're just like, oh, here's a world-class number 8. We've just found one just waiting there for us. That seems to be what happens in South African rugby all the time. From a kind of world rugby perspective, it's almost quite distressing, but as a rugby fan, it's hugely, hugely exciting.
Let's go with predictions. What is your prediction? Now, technically, this is a North versus South. So I think I can predict which team you're going to go with, but you can go. What's your prediction?
Okay. Now, as a Northern Hemisphere fan, right, I have had my heart broken too many times by Mornay Steyn to potentially ignore it. And you've also got Chris Smith in that team, who is basically modeled. He seems to have modeled his entire life around Mornay Steyn. I am too used to being heartbroken by them to see anything but a Bulls win this weekend. I think the Stormers probably go in as favourites, but I feel like there could be a kind of late... If the game's still level, if it's still quite level in the last 10 minutes, I feel like the Bulls just they're the kind of team that love to pull it off late.
I just want to say that particular decision is the second worst decision you've had on this particular show. I am going with DHL Stormers at home. It's going to be pressure-filled, and I hope DHL Stormers start a little bit slower in the beginning because they usually finish well. But I just want to say to all the Cape Townians, I want to see you this weekend. Fill up DHL Greenpoint Cape Town Stadium. It's going to be the place to be because it's been an action-packed, incredible, unstoppable, undeniable Vodacom URC tournament. Squidge, it's been a pleasure.
I can't wait. I'll see you then.
North versus South.